Good morning, and thank you for stopping by to check out my message. It's November 2nd. It's the second day of the 8 days of tips that I want to offer. And the purpose of these, again, is just to give you a little spark of something to think about as you go through your day, places that you can practice these tips, practice these practices that actually help to enrich your life, to let you see in a deeper way what goes on in your life, to live a little more awake, which is really the point of, as human beings, we're meant to evolve. So before I go too deep, so today what I want to talk about is the gift of triggers. And for those of you, and triggers kind of a label for the action, but basically a trigger is anything in your life that has not been completely healed and is just sort of sunk, been buried deep. And when something happens, it can be anything, a slight, a smell, an action, a word, some way someone touches you. Any of those things can sort of bring back that unhealed wound, and you're right back in some sort of struggle with yourself around that. Feelings can come up that are hurt, and all kinds of things pull you into this place of discomfort. And so those are triggers. And I want to tell you just a quick story, and it'll kind of give you the example. So last night I went over to Steve's office, and Steve's my partner, and went over to his office, and I was going to go help. They were doing this big massive move, and so it was late at night, and I had had a long day, but I drove over there. I was really excited about it, looking forward to a fun evening of chattering and helping them with their project, and also just having a sweet evening with my partner. And I walked into his office, and I noticed that there was like all these pictures blasted all over his desk of other people, and our picture was stuck under a pile of papers on the desk. And in that moment, believe me, I know it's kind of silly, but in that moment, my feelings got really hurt. And I thought, wow, is this how he regards me? Now, I was really upset about that. And the truth of the matter is, it wasn't the picture. It wasn't where it was or that it was buried. It was the representation of what that brought up in me in that moment. Some other things that I'm still working on, other wounds, other events, other meaning that I give that. And that is the place of work. And so I was very upset by it. And when we finally got home, it actually brought me to tears. I was that upset about it. So when we got home, I asked him, let's engage in talking about this, because I'm very upset about it. And I actually wanted to make sure he understood what that represented to me, because I don't go to his office very much. And so the point is that we worked through it, and we got to a place of understanding, and it wasn't easy, and it gets messy, and it doesn't feel so good when you're in it sometimes, but working through it is priceless, because it builds your relationship into a place of understanding. So when you have these triggers, and this is a perfect time to talk about this, because holidays can do this for so many people, whether it's family gatherings or friend gatherings or any of these events when you come into places with people and you have expectations and you're excited about stuff, and all of a sudden something sideswipes you and you don't know why, right? Or you unintentionally hurt someone else, and they respond in a way that you don't understand. This is a really good practice in being mindful, in being present in each of these interactions. When you go to parties, come in with your mindfulness. Now, when a trigger does happen, and I'm sorry I'm talking so fast, I don't want to make it too long. So when a trigger does happen, what you can do is, number one, be aware that you've had a response, okay? Awareness is the very first place to start, right? So self-awareness. I'm having this response. It's right here. I feel it, okay? The next thing is to get curious. Self-inquire. What am I feeling? Oh, I'm feeling my feelings feel hurt. Okay, why do my feelings feel hurt? So you start to ask yourself these questions to get deeper into what's going on with you. The next thing is, if you have the space, like I didn't have the space last night at Steve's office to start crying, but I pulled through the evening, and when I got in my car, I just sort of let myself cry about it. What am I feeling? What's going on here? And on the way home, I kind of did a little inquiry with myself. What am I feeling? It's just a picture. What's the matter with you? What's going on? So let yourself have the feelings that you're going to have. Let yourself self-compassionately, with self-love, identify with what's going on, okay? That's the next thing. Then look at the iceberg, okay? Just like an iceberg above the water, there's like a little tip, right? And you see just a little thing hanging up. That's just the little, like in my case, it's just the little picture. Well, underneath is this whole big pile of things that it might be very big, it might be very small. It depends on how long it's been since you've gone under the water to look at these little triggers. That's why it's so important to do this. This is really important work. You don't realize how important it is until you start healing those little triggers. The next thing is to work with it. Work with your partner. Whoever it is that caused the trigger, if you can, work with them. If it's in a relationship, it's really important and vital and essential that you do, because it's things that can come up again and again and again. And you love each other and you want to care. You want to have compassion and kindness and have a relationship where you can connect with each other. And stay generous with it. Watch your words. Don't say words that you're going to wish you didn't say. Say words, communicate with words that you're going to feel good about. Come with your authentic truth of who you are, your genuineness of yourself, and say how you feel. But do it with a loving kindness for yourself and for your partner. And, it's important to expand your perspective. This is a really big subject, and I'm just kind of touching on the little things, but the importance of it cannot be overstated. And the last thing is to allow yourself to not have to be right about it, but to allow yourself to say, I can see your side. I want you to see my side. And if it's really important to you, have a request. Request what you need. Steve, I need our picture to be out there in a state that says, I honor you, I honor us, and it has an important spot. That's important to me. When I come into his office, I don't care how destroyed it is. The representation of us and my matter to him in his office needs to be displayed in a way that makes me feel good. So he finally got that. And I had to allow myself to say, okay, he's got that. It's time to let it go and put it down and let it rest and let it be a good thing between us. John Gottman, who's a psychology researcher who researches relationships, has done this for 40 years. And the one thing that he's found that predicts whether relationships will be successful or not, it's not whether you criticize, it's not whether you nag, it's not whether you fight. It is whether you have contempt in your relationship. Contempt is that state of being where you feel like you're not worthy, and so there's this really edgy nastiness that can come up. And when we don't let our partners feel, or the people in our lives, our families, our friends, our partners, when we don't let them feel that they have worth to us, when we don't consider their feelings, when we forget to be that kind person and show that mindful presence and care for them, when we do that, we can start to eat at our relationship from the core out. So what we want to do with this practice, with triggers, is know that it is a gift. It's a gift because it's uncomfortable, and it'll push you to seek and to heal and to understand. And it'll help you in your relationship and in your life to feel more in touch, awake, and just kind of connected to your own authentic self. And it's a beautiful thing. If you need more help with this, please go to my website, check it out, www.christineleoncoaching.com, and I'd love to be of service to you. And also my intensive is going to be launching at the end of this next week. There's still some places left if you want to get in on the intensive on how to get out of pain in 2019, if you've experienced betrayal or anything that really has been hurting you and you can't seem to heal it. Go to my website, sign up for an appointment. We'll see if it's a fit for you, and I'd love to work with you. Have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hopefully it won't be so long, but this is important. Bye.